Right, so here we are, book 17. Let's get straight into it. First, let me welcome everybody. Thanks for coming back to watch my story, my life through addiction. I've now begun to call it Hell's Kitchen because I remember on one of the walls in the Nigerians' places it was written, "Welcome to Hell's Kitchen." I'll never forget that. That was basically our home. So yeah, thanks for coming back. Those who are here for the first time, go back, watch the other books, get caught up, see the story of my life. My channel's here to try and inspire or motivate addicts, let them know that it's never too late to come clean, and for people that's caring for addicts, to give you a little bit of insight into how an addict thinks simply by watching me and hearing my story. So where we were now is, look, I went back, I told you the story of my sister. Now we're going to move forward again back into Rosettenville. There were many things over the period that I was there that happened, I'll talk about one or two of them. I'd like to start by just mentioning I had a friend there. Well, not really a friend, obviously nobody were really friends there. It was somebody that I used to drug with. He was a black guy, his name was Edge. But he was much younger than me. If I'm not mistaken, he had just finished school. He was only 19 or 20. He was young. Edge was obviously his nickname. I never got to know his real name. And for a couple of days we were using together. And then, as predictable as I am, we ran out of money. There was no money to use anymore. So I done what I always done best, and I convinced him to pawn his cell phone at the drug dealer, promising that we'd get it back the next day. Now, it was all with good intentions. Understand that as an addict, I fully believe it. I believe it, yes, I'll get it back for him the next day. I'll make a plan and we'll get it back. Let's just get our drugs now. Tomorrow's another day. We'll make a plan for it. So what happened is he ended up pawning it after a lot of thinking about it and me convincing him. He decided to pawn it. We pawned it, we got the drugs, and we used. All the promises were made. He must come back tomorrow, which he did. And when he came back, I don't remember exactly what happened, but it didn't happen that day. We didn't get it back, and this happened for a couple of days where I didn't help him. I didn't get the phone back for him. Then one evening we were sitting in the Nigerian's place, and I was using. He wasn't there, and he came walking in. And he started straight away fighting and accusing me and getting loud. And I was just sitting using, so I was so high at the time. And he was standing directly in front of me, and threatening me and saying that he's going to F me up and all of these things. Obviously, a whole lot worse than that. But saying this, so being the person I am, I stood up to defend myself, and as I stood up, he took a swing at me and he hit me. I've actually got a scar still under my eye over here where he caught me, and it's the first time in my life that I'd actually been dropped. I fell, but as I fell, I hit my ribs on the side of a chair, and I think I would have been actually out. I think I would have been unconscious, but the chair knocked me awake again, and I stood up straight after that. He was thrown out. There was a big fight. He was thrown out. I had more friends there than he did, so I was fine. I was protected, but he was thrown out. And the reason I'm telling the story is because at so young, at 18 or 19, a couple of days later, we heard that he had killed himself. He had gone home. I still don't know if it was that night or the next night. He had gone home and he had hung himself in his bedroom. It goes to show that we don't know anybody's backstory. He could have been so worked up and so worried about his phone because of the type of life he had at home. I don't know if he would have got beat or what the case was, or if it was an extremely sentimental gift to him that somebody gave to him, and maybe a mother or father that's passed on. Or, we don't know and we don't care as addicts. And this is one of those cases. Nobody really cared. We had our drugs that day, so getting his phone back after that was obviously one of the least priorities that we had, or that I had. But yeah, Edge had committed suicide, and yeah, it was It was a shock. It was a shock, but again, being so emotionless, the person doesn't really register. It's just, we just spoke about it. It's spoken about. He's gone. He committed suicide. Why would he do that? And that was that. And back to our normal days. We would just carry on. Talking about deaths in Rosettenville, I had a other guy as well that used to use. His name was Yaku. His whole thing was, he used to, like I said, everybody had their own thing that they used to do for money, and his whole thing was he used to break into garages, people's garages, and he would steal from the garage. He would never steal from the house. He would always steal from garages. And one day, the garage that he broke into, he found vintage toy cars, and apparently a lot of them. And he took a couple, he went, he sold them. He obviously saw now just how much he could get for them, that it was well worth it, and he went back to steal more the following day. But the people whose home it was had waited for him, or they were aware, so it was still soon after the first time, so they were expecting him. And after catching him and after a chase, they actually ran after him. While running after him, they stabbed him. One of the guys tried to stab him from behind, and they stabbed him in just under his buttocks. They stabbed him in one of the main arteries. And unfortunately, Yaku died on the scene. He died on the scene, from that. It's not to talk about all the people that's overdosed. Overdosing, people talk about overdose as well, especially non-addicts and people that's caring for addicts. And it's such a big thing when they talk about overdosing. It's such a scary thing, and yet I can tell you that in a addict's life, in a seasoned active addict that's using for years, overdose is obviously it's a reality, but it's also how can I say it? It's a thing that happens. It happens often. And it all happens to probably all addicts, especially heroin users. I mean, one of the other guys over there, his thing was overdosing, just overdosing, and be knocked out. He used to actually have fits. He used to have seizures, and that's when the drug was good for him. That's when he would enjoy it. He would, if we helped him in it, he would complain, so. That was his thing. So yes, OD was it was a common thing living with addicts. We've all OD'd at some time or other. Myself, we were using one night. We were using in this Nigerian's house where I used to stay, and I was sharing a room with this young lady. I'm not sure where she is today, so I won't mention her name. But I was sharing a room with her. And I actually became very close to her, and I thought a lot of her. I really did. And I was sharing a room with her, and we were using. And I made my shot, and I was busy talking to her. She was sitting opposite me, and I injected. And as I injected, and I felt it kicking in. And that was it. Then it was blackness, and the next thing I remember was waking up in the bath with the water running on me. And one of the other guys over there, who also drugging for years, probably longer than I had, he only had one leg, and he actually pulled me, dragged me into the bathroom while I was overdosed. When I was unconscious, he dragged me into the bathroom, and he's the one that put me in the bath and put the water on. And I can tell you now, I mean, I came out of there, I woke up and became conscious again, and I don't even think it was within 2 hours. Within 2 hours, I was using again. This is what I'm saying. OD becomes such a frequent thing and such a reality for us that it's just part of the game. It's part of the game, and also again, we stop fearing dying. We don't have much to live for. We don't really care about anything else. So it's not a huge thing for us. It's a way of life. It's something that just happens. It's like other people that suffer from migraines. They hope they don't get it. Sometimes they get it, and and they deal with it if they do. That's exactly how overdose was for us. Most of us really didn't want to overdose and hoped that somebody was there if we did, which we were always with somebody. It is absolutely, if I think back, it is so frightening, and I'm sure any non-user must think so too. It's crazy. It's insanity. That type of life for us is insanity. So anyway, we carried on in Rosettenville. I was hanging around with that other friend of mine that I went to rehab with. We were together. We were missioning together, shoplifting. I was, like I said, I was stealing colognes. I was getting arrested every now and then, at least once a month. I was being locked up. For the first couple of months, every time I got locked up, I'd give a different name. I was Rodney, I was Jason, I was Jason Freeman, I was Jason Hastings, I was Justin Freeman. I was so many names, which even became confusing for me. I mean, I'd be locked up and there'd be roll call in jail, and I'd forget that name that I gave. It's not the easiest thing to remember because you give it at the spur of the moment. So sometimes you don't even remember the actual name that you gave, and when you give it, you're high as can be. So chances are that you're actually going to remember it, or next to impossible. But like I'm saying, as addicts, and it might sound like glorifying now, and I'm really not, but for those, it's to put you in the mind of an addict, how little we care about anything. I mean, I remember being arrested once, and after being arrested a couple of times, after being arrested a lot and becoming accustomed to being locked up, either awaiting trial or sentenced, and from sitting in holding cells to sitting in a proper correctional facility, you become seasoned and accustomed to it, that you know all the ins and outs and how the customs work in the jails. So what would happen is, when I would, first of all, I would always make sure that I had a cheap watch on my arm in the day. This is something I try to always do. Again, just steal a cheap one from Edgar's or from wherever, and I'd keep that, so that if I did get locked up and I did end up in prison and not just a holding cell, I'd have something to barter with for a bed, because you don't just get a bed when you go in. You need to give them something to be able to get a bed. So I would do that. It is so scary. It's a part of my life that I heavily regret, and that I wish I didn't still have thoughts of. I still remember it clearly. I still have dreams about prison. I mean, I still wake up with a fright and thank God that it was just a dream. That because in the dream I'm either running, or I've just been arrested, or the cell doors have closed. Something like that. It's always something like that in my dream, and it's absolutely terrifying for me at the moment, especially now having a family and having my mind back where it's supposed to be, having proper responsibilities. I'm not just responsible for myself, which is even the wrong word, because I was never responsible for myself, even if I was alone. I let myself go, so that's not being responsible for myself. I just done whatever without thought. So like I say, Rosettenville, there's a couple of stories to tell there, the way we lived, the places we lived. I lived with a couple of people, different people. There were about 3 or 4 different guys that over that period, over those couple of years, that I spent most of my time with. I'd love to call them friends, man, because I enjoy people, I like people, so I'd love to call them friends. I'm just not sure in their eyes and how I would be to them. I think at the moment, I'd be a source of some type of help. I don't know, it's difficult to say. You never know how a person's going to turn out. So it was just two short stories on Rosettenville and my life, that side. And I don't have much more to say about that right now. More things will come back to me, and I will speak about it more. But let's just, for a couple of seconds, let's just say, keep on being strong, man. Keep on trying to come clean. I know chances of an addict, a full-blown addict, sitting watching this now is very, very unlikely. First of all, hardly any addict has got a cell phone. or access to internet, so that's very unlikely. But if you're somebody that knows of an addict or caring for an addict, take a look at the books and listen to what I'm saying. It's like I said, this is not about subscribers for me. This is about trying to get some help out there. I know how hard it is for them, and I know how hard it is for you that are trying to care for them, especially not understanding them. I know how difficult that must be, trying to do your best and yet just seem like you're failing all the time. I know, just watch the videos so that you can try and understand. I want to thank everybody again for spending time watching, friends and family. Thanks for having a look. Thank you to everybody for not holding anything against me. I really appreciate that. Before I go, let me just say, watching the videos, you must have noticed by now that when I speak, you never see my top teeth. I always keep my mouth closed, and that is simply because my teeth are absolutely terrible, and that is from drugs. It's from neglect, and it's from drugs. And I'm telling you that now so that if you're new into using, you can see the outcome. Don't do it. Physically, it's not worth it. I was probably a much better looking young guy when I was younger compared to now because of all the drugs and everything that's happened, and it's absolutely kills your confidence. And my lack of confidence is gone because I can't smile properly. I can't actually articulate words properly because I don't want to show my teeth. So it's unfortunate, but it's one of those things that I need to live with. Maybe one day I'll get a plate and get some false teeth. So thank you for watching. I'm not sure if any of my family have watched this yet because I haven't really invited them to. I've actually taken them off the Facebook lists. When I send this out, it doesn't go to them, and I haven't let them know about it. I probably should. I'm just a little bit, it's more fear than anything else that it brings up old feelings from their side. You know, things have just started getting right now after 13 years. I don't want to lose that. I love my family very much. But anyway, I'm going to call it a day now. I'm going to finish off this one. Come back for the next book or whatever we talk about next. Like I said before, I'm enjoying this. It's been good. I really appreciate you coming. Subscribe, then at least I know that I'm reaching somebody. Like I say, subscription's not important, but it does help me see that people are interested. And yeah, like I say always, this is A is for Addict. I really appreciate you being here. Have a marvelous day. Cheers.